Hey folks, everything okay?
Welcome everyone. A few miles north of the Great Wall, we encounter William and his companion Pero Tovar escaping from some mounted robbers. The two free some horses and observe as their chasers pass by, unaware of them concealed. At night, in the desert, Pero says they have a mission to complete. The mission is to obtain and understand gunpowder. While William and Pero talk, the other two are killed by a monster. William spins and finds out they both vanished without a sign. Then, they pick up sound and comprehend it was a creature, not a person. The beast moves towards them and they are set to strike, which they execute and kill. William proposes they should take the creature's hand to discover what they've just taken down. During the sunrise, they are pursued once more by thieves who desire their demise, but conclude at the Great Wall, where they stumble upon a formidable military and are swiftly engulfed. Having limited choices, William and Pero get off their horses, deciding to give up to the Chinese rather than the thugs behind them. At headquarters, the commanders inspect the beast's arm. Commander Lin questions William, asking him the location where the hand was discovered. He replies that it was not found, rather it was seized. She conveys the details to the others, since she is fluent in both Chinese and English. They are not surprised by the beast, but by the timing of the attack earlier than expected. She inquires William about how they exterminated it, and he claims he was the one who did it, but nobody trusts him. Nonetheless, a gentleman verifies their tale, spotting green fluid on the blade, but Lin still believes terminating them is suitable. Lin asks why the two are there, and he begins to explain that they are there to negotiate. Lin wishes him to perish, which some concur with, but one individual objects to the decision. Prior to a final judgment can be established, a trooper enters and announces that they are being assaulted. The general commands that the intruders be imprisoned and get ready for combat. En route to the lair, they discover the creatures are named Taotai, originating from a celestial rock and assaulting once every 6 decades. Once inside the prison, a man cannot locate the key, so he is commanded to escort them up to the wall. Now on the wall, they see the soldiers, the weapons, and both in abundance. Everyone moves to their positions, preparing for the fight ahead. They wait patiently but nervously as creatures approach in the distance. They start preparing fireballs and shoot at the creatures. Archers start firing arrows and take down many, but there are thousands of creatures and they are really huge. In due course, they get near to the wall and the blue soldiers take action. They leap and attack the beasts before retreating upwards, if they're fortunate. William and Para witness what's happening. The evident queen of the creatures appears, so they target, firing numerous fire spheres at her. It's ineffective, as they shield themselves in a sphere. The queen gives a command, then they initiate ascending the barriers. The captain proclaims it's moment for close combat. Situations are about to become unpleasant. Purple soldiers get ready to battle. William and Pero understand they're in hot water if not set free. A youthful warrior named Pang gazes at them and William instructs him to combat. Then he proceeds towards the creature while an unknown person liberates the two prisoners. Pang assaults and pierces the creature, and then is struck. But now free William and Pero jump into action to assist him. William grabs a spear and stabs the Taotai. The beast is relentless, even after danger causes some damage. The creature lunges towards the soldier, but luckily, he is skillfully moved out of the way. The creature returns, and William stabs his spear into its mouth, but the beast does not die. Pero passes another spear and that doesn't kill it, so they push it deeper. Pero acquires a red fabric and William collects a bow and arrow. They start killing the beasts as if it were a bullfight. The stranger who freed them flees from the beast, then Pero pulls him.
I clear the path and William slips under him
And fires at the monster in the optical organs, thereby exterminating it. The monarch commands all the beings to withdraw. Lin and the generals go up to them, and the pair lay down their weapons. They're told that they've won the general's approval and are ordered to relax in the barracks. William and Pero are roused from their slumber by an unknown person. The man identifies himself as Ballard and inquires about their purpose there, to which they reply that they were in search of gunpowder. After discussing their intent, he mentions he arrived in China for identical reasons a quarter century ago. He goes on to say that discovering the gunpowder and getting out alive are two separate matters. Later, the two are invited to a feast and are welcomed on behalf of the general. Another commander questions why William employs such an archaic bow considering his rank. William contends that his armament is unparalleled. The general requests him to show the utility of such a weapon. William debates this demand but complies. He then requests Pero to get a mug. They position themselves back to back, William eventually requests that he tosses the cup at precise measurements. He fires the first arrow, hitting it towards the column, and a second and third one, keeping the cup suspended on the column. All then bullseye. Our awestruck and clap for such confidence. Back at the barricade, Ling presents him the elastic cord apparatus they utilized during the conflict and inquires if he desires to get a go. He doesn't seem very interested because of the height, but accepts the offer after she challenges him. She secures him and states that in the military they don't battle for sustenance. They battle for something bigger than themselves. She claims they employ trust to lead him, but he rejects her guidance, refusing to leap, stating his survival is because of his lack of trust in others. Ballard shows them the gunpowder and says there are many weapons and things they haven't seen on the Great Wall, and many things they should hope never to see. In conclusion, he mentions the optimal moment to depart is when the skirmish commences. Later in the war meeting, William is asked where he got the stone in his bag, and he says he found it. Strategist Wang says the stone may be useful to him. William questions the origin of the Teoti and is narrated a myth. Over 2,000 years prior to his time, there lived an emperor whose avarice inflicted pain upon China and its citizens. A meteor descended to Earth and formed the mountain from which the beast originated, making it green. The Tao Tai show up every 60 years to remind them of the consequences of uncontrolled greed. He warns that if they pass through the wall, they will go to the capital, and then there will be no stopping them. The queen will have sufficient sustenance to produce thousands and thousands more Tao Tai, and no military force will be adequate to confront them. Later in the evening, they discover deceased troops on the wall and question why the corpses were not removed. A single beast is on the wall hunting, so they move forward, hoping to slay it. As the creature nears, Lin and the general ready themselves for battle, while another creature stealthily approaches from behind. They kill the one in front of them, and the general pushes Lin out of the way, killing the other but also getting seriously injured. Then the general is carried on a stretcher and gives Lin the authority to lead the Nameless Order, a command he gives with his final breath. They place him in a casket and pay their respects. Soldiers line the wall and lanterns are released. Now in the war meeting, they discuss a magnet, which is the stone that William and Pero had when they arrived, and Wong thinks that's why William was able to kill the creature so easily. Lin inquires how they can validate this, and William proposes catching one and examining to see what impact it has. Then the next day, with fog over the mountains, they fill their spheres with a sedative agent and quietly wait to hear anything that might be coming to the wall. William escapes when one of the soldiers is dismissed. Meanwhile, Ballard and Pero are prepared to depart. A few moments later, we observe that the creatures approached undetected and abruptly started their assault. Lin instructs the death squad to initiate a counter-offensive, hence they leap and combat the creatures. Swords emerge from the walls, beginning to cut the monsters. William, seeing the battle before him, hesitates to leave. Ballard tells Pero they need to depart, but Pero understands they can't leave without William due to his skills in archery. The soldiers manage to pin some of the beasts with their spears, but another Teotai takes them out. One chance remains to catch the beast. William returns and tells him to stop pulling and instead wait for the sedative to work. Then they shoot some fireballs at it, hoping to separate it from the others. William grabs the arrows and goes down to the battlefield. Lin tells him to take the arrows that make sound with the wind, which helps to hear them approaching. He leaps, goes down the chain while arrows whiz past him, hitting the Tao Tai. William ties the snoozing Tao Tai, and the hauling begins. Suddenly, he is attacked, but he manages to kill the beast, but a second surprises him in the back. Fortunately, Pero is there to help him. They manage to kill one of the creatures, but realize that fire is not stopping them. Then, William shoots arrows into the air, and Lin prepares weapons with black powder. The arrows explode, they are thrown back, and the walls open.
Soldiers gather them and transport
them inside. Later, William wakes up as they try to heal him. Lin tells him that Pero is okay. She asks why he went beyond the wall. He responds that it was because of trust. He looks at his fingers and sees the black powder. She wishes he'd never witnessed it, as it's a horrendous weapon they hope to never deploy. She's worried that human avarice will exploit the gunpowder, leading to disaster. However, before she leaves, she advises him to erase the sight from his memory. Moments later, everyone surrounds the beast with spears. Wang places the stone near it and watches the unruly beast become docile. Everyone is surprised by that reaction, but Wanya is more shocked when someone suggests sending it to the capital. He argues that they should study it there, but is informed it's an imperial order. With that, the captured Tao Tai is taken away. The movement of the Tao Tai puts everyone on guard. Pero and Ballard get ready to leave, and Ballard wonders if William might double-cross him. He says he doesn't know. They return to Ballard's room where he takes his stock of black powder. William comes in later and finds they're gone. He sees a hole in the wall, showing they plan to bolt. Meanwhile, soldiers descend the wall and enter a tunnel that stretches underground. This indicates that the Tao Tai traveled this route. Lin gathers her generals, discussing that the Tao Tai now have access to the capital and are likely on their way. In a desperate attempt to reach the capital on time, they opt to use their newly developed war balloons, yet untried. Ballard and Pero reach the gates and put dynamite on them. It doesn't explode, so Pero goes to check. When he approaches, everything explodes, pushing them back. Upon hearing the detonation, William sprints towards the noise. The soldier that William rescued trails him. William discovers them in the armory, pilfering and gearing up to skedaddle. They attempt to persuade him to escape with them, but he deems confronting the TAOTAI more crucial. Pero asserts they are destined to fail, without any justification. William declines, stating his plans are to stay and battle. They then knock him over, leaving him unconscious. In the capital, the captured district head is brought to the emperor. His advisors told him that the magnet was an important discovery. Sadly, they have no idea what's about to happen. William is brought to the generals, and Lin, in chains. She doesn't want to hear his explanations. She says she'd kill him if she wasn't a general. But then Ping has his back, saying he's being honest. Afterwards, she commands for him to be locked up and to pursue the two who slipped away. During the escape, Ballard betrays Pero and takes the horses. On the city wall, the balloons begin their ascent into the sky. William observes from his cell as
They fail miserably. Conveniently so.
Linz operates, and William is set free, being told that the plan did not succeed. The Tao Tai is nearing the capital city, and Lin states it must be set free, given that the world is on the brink of annihilation. Then, he asks where she is and looks to the skies, to the balloons that haven't fallen. He asks if there's still a chance, but is informed that only by killing the queen is there any chance of survival. Then William follows her in a balloon, and his buddy accompanies him. Ballard is discovered by the robbers and is bound to a string. Up, they discover his dark dust and one stumbles into the flame, causing a blast. The warriors reach the capital and are met by a multitude of Tao Tai. Lin confronts the creatures but ends up collapsing to the earth and is promptly encircled. On top of that, William comes with the balloon and saves her. He seizes his spear and holds it, while they glide over the city with the monsters trying to reach them. Wang hands over a grenade to Lin, and she chucks it at a beast coming their way, leading it to blow up. She questions his presence, given she hasn't freed him, but they can't chat as they've located the queen, and it's not a pleasing sight. They touch down and are welcomed by the monarch's protectors. They approach the monarch, who informs them it's too late, but they believe if they eliminate the queen, it could finish. The plan is to send the captured beast to its queen in hopes of blowing it up when it gets close, thus killing the queen. They take it through the underground canals to get close. They are assaulted but rescue their troops, although with some wounds. William checks on his wounded mate, yet he says he'll survive, and they move on along the hallway, planning to return for him. When the Tao Tai discover them, the young man gives up his life and detonates himself, making sure they can carry on with the plan. They get the captured creature ready and unlatch the gates prior to seizing the magnet and inching backwards. The creature awakens and initially wants to attack him, but the magnet pushes it away, so at least it eats and leaves. They observe it being taken to the inner circle where the queen resides. William and Lin ascend to the top of the tower for a clear shot, while Wang remains with the magnet at the doorway. They discharge a shot, but the bullet misses its mark due to the queen's safeguard creating a barrier. They ascend further, but now the queen has spotted them and commands her creatures to assault the tower. Wang hurls the magnet, and Ling grabs it, but he gets killed immediately after. William fires again, but the shot is repelled, making the queen even more furious. William has one final black powder shot left. Before they get murdered, the duo leap from the tower, barely evading the beasts. William flings the magnet while Lin fires the last shot. The queen ingests the explosive substance, aiming to prevent the imminent ruin, but fails. She explodes completely and dies. They observe that the alien organisms that are insectoid fall like mindless creatures, without a leader to command them. A bit later, back at the Grand Wall, William locates Pero in chains. They banter a bit before William discloses he had to pick between black dust or carrying his buddy back home. He subsequently liberates Pero, who is taken aback that he picked him. On the way home, the two former bandits are led out of the wall, and William takes a look back, while Lynn observes him leaving. Pero inquires if he wants to return, and Williams affirms, but he is skeptical that his friend will arrive home intact.